Alrighty. I've got this rolling now. So, as a little side note, I was going to use Visor, but it seems that it is no longer a thing. So this is my first time working with Q. I was trying to figure out a way to like full screen it, but I can't figure it out. Um, I'll look into it, but for the time being, we're gonna go and just let it roll through. So I have not watched this ahead of time, unfortunately. Kind of got caught up doing some other stuff. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go and watch it through on a fight by fight basis, and then we'll kind of gonna pick it apart. Um, and yeah, I'll do my drawings and whatnot as needed, but I don't know if there's any quick keybinds or anything like that. And as far as the comms go, I'm probably not gonna have them on for right now. Just because we're looking more so at like your individual play. If you want me to focus more so on like your role within the team, we can definitely take a look at that on like some of the later VODs. Just let me know. But for right now, it's mostly gonna be like mechanical things, positional things, timing things, like your own role. Because once you understand that, then you can understand how to fit that in with everybody else. So let's go ahead and watch this through. So that's good pressure on the Zen. If your ball was there to help you with that, you probably could have killed him. And like, oh, I know I said I wasn't gonna do this, but Sombra and Ball make a pretty good little like dive duo. But like right now, what you're doing is good. You're just going in, poking for ult charge. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I mean, it makes sense to stage a little bit closer. What I would say is try to get more behind them, and it's good to be looking for these squishy targets. Like the Zen, the Ashe, the Mercy would also be really good. Because right now, you're putting a lot of pressure on them, but you're not able to stay uncloaked for very long before they pressure you. Right there. Also, I'm gonna go and pause it. Right there, you probably should have pulled out because your team had kind of already lost the fight, and so with Sombra, you rely on them not looking at you, but with you being the only one there, there's not much left for them to look at aside from you, and so you could have just pulled out and like taken it for what it is. Because pulling out just to like quickly reset will always be better than dying. Because it's going to take up less time and the enemy does not gain anything if you just leave, as opposed to if you die, then it feeds a molt charge and then your team has to wait. Yeah, but like looking at that Zen right now, that would be really good. Oof, that's unlucky. That's the right idea though. You're looking to be on the very outskirts, kind of firing into the cluster on a side angle. But also be careful not to go the same route every time, because if they're smart, they're going to start to adapt to that, and then they're going to try and spy check and, essentially catch you in that rotation and catch you out. Now you got to be very careful right here, because you're kind of in the middle of them all, and the last thing you want is to get found out. Good EMP, good focus on the Zen. Aggressive play, but it works out. You guys already won that fight. Good translocator. So on this map in particular, there's not that much high ground for you to really play around, so instead you're just going to look to control those flanks like you're doing right now. You're just kind of standing off to the side, getting some poke damage off, and the longer you can stay there for without being forced out, the better, because the more ult charge you're going to get. And the more, like, the longer you are around for, the more and more they're going to be annoyed and try to throw some resources into you. And as long as you don't die, that's what you want. You want them to commit resources to you, so that way they don't have it for the actual fight. You should try to hack the the Pharah or the Mercy there. Not really the Zen, because you don't gain much from hacking Zen. You want to look for somebody who's very ability reliant. So like Ashe isn't bad. Like Ashe is okay. Pharah is really good. Monkey is good. Sombra is good because she has no escape that way. And Mercy is okay because it gets rid of her mobility. So like Mercy and Ashe are meh. Sombra would be a really good one. Monkey would be a really good one. I don't know if that Zen had trans or not. If he did, that was a good trade. Oh wow, your soldier just kind of cleaned up. Are the colors backwards? What is going on? Oh, I see. Good first round. But yeah, typically try not to trade if you can avoid it. Even if you can't get the kill on them, it's worth it for you to stay alive because somebody else might get the kill on them. Because that Zen cannot just warp out of the fight like you can. And so if you get him to 1 health and then somebody else looks in his direction and can just like tap him, that way it's you still get that pick as a team and you're still there, especially since you had EMP. You could have used it in that fight. So that's something to keep in mind. It looks like we're going to be running goats here. So, I'll come back to it in a second here. Okay. How far back does this take us? Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit farther. So, in Goats as Zarya, you're looking to use your personal barrier to kind of keep yourself alive or for your weapon charge. Now, your projected barrier, you only want to throw on the Rhine if he gets antied or critical or like charged or something like that. But if he's not antied, if he's not critical health, and if he isn't being charged by the enemy Rhine, don't use it and save your bubble almost exclusively for him. The only time you wouldn't really need to throw it on him is if he's full health and you have a diva that's taking a bunch of fire and you can bubble her, or if he's already dead and you're just trying to win the fight, like finish up the fight, then you can use it then. But 90% of the time, you're going to want to save it for that Rhine when he gets into a critical state. Because if he gets antied, they're going to try and throw everything onto him while he's antied, but the bubble cleanses it, and you'll get your charge through that. If he's critical health, they're going to try and just burn through the bubble. You'll get your weapon charge through that. And if he's charged, well, you have good bubble timing. He doesn't take that pin damage, and you're going to get weapon charge through that. And so, like right now, you used it at the very start of the fight, so if they were to hard engage, then they could have easily wiped him because you had no way of keeping him alive. And it also, you weren't able to get a huge amount of charge from bubbling him as well, so that's another thing to look for, is how to maximize your weapon charge, but you have to do it at the right times, because playing Zarya in Goats is a bit different than playing her out of Goats, because out of Goats, like, that bubble is fine, I guess, because you're just trying to get weapon charge, but, like, right there, like, you're at 40% now, so, like, that's fine. And then if your Rhine just plays more aggro, when he gets critical, you can bubble him. So if you have bubble up, he can just play aggro, and then when he gets low, then you bubble him on his retreat while his healers keep him up. They might be rotating. Yeah, they are. Okay. Going under. I'm going to be really sad if I see you grab. Because they're already down 2, and you use shatter. You shouldn't need grab in this fight. Okay. Good job. Now I would say to set back up right where you were before. There we go. You're doing good of your early reloads. Good grab. Yeah, just stay up on the high ground and just like lob some right clicks in on the retreat. Like instead of going this way, you could have gone like closer to the edge and just lob them over. Try to get a little bit more ult charge in. It was the right idea with that grab, but it was just unfortunate that they were able to counter ult it well. But they used what, Shatter and Blizzard for a grab, and you're gonna have your Shatter up again. So overall, 2 for 1 like that is good. But be careful, because now your Ryan is pushing in without a bubble, so he very well might die here. Oh no, he didn't. Okay, interesting. Good focus fire. You kind of tunnel visioned on that a little bit because your Ryan died when you had your projected bubble up. But, I mean, sometimes it's like that. As far as, like, your tracking is good. You're not, like, emptying your clip out with your right clicks, which is nice because I don't know if you know why you don't want to do that, but essentially if you need to beam somebody, you have some energy, so throwing out like 2 to 3 or like 1 to 3 honestly right clicks and then reloading is better than completely emptying it and then literally having no ammo, because you can always melee to cancel reload animation, and so if you need to still shoot for something, you can just melee and then finish off a low health target with a left click, throw in that last right click if you need it. Things like that. I probably wouldn't have used the grapple there. I was just like thinking about it. But like, you don't need to grapple that little distance. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I say no. You weren't even trying to grapple there. That's just really unlucky. Good shot. Good pressure. You should. Yeah, I was gonna say you should look to help with that Pharah. I think they have a Pharah. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Good job on the Zen. I also probably wouldn't have used grapple there because now you won't have it to reposition after you cap it. I mean, like you do now, but still, like, I just wouldn't. You don't need to grapple that distance. You can just walk it, and that way you have grapple up if you need it. Good shot. Ooh, unlucky. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Think about where the enemy widow is. Knowing that they have a widow, if you haven't seen her in a while, you know, look around a bit, play a bit cautiously, make sure to rotate, things like that. You don't want to stand in the same place because then she'll learn where you are, and if you don't know where she is, that's gonna give her the ultimate advantage. Okay, if we keep peeking the same corner. Good shot. Good cleanup. So right about now, I would be looking to rotate somewhere, seeing as how the enemy team is rotating and you've taken a lot of shots, so they're trying to go around you. And so their widow is looking right at you. You got that first hit off, so you kind of force her out in that sense, but yeah. Like after you take a few shots like that, especially against a widow, look to change your spot, so that way she can't predict where you're going to be. Nice shot. Alright, well, good job.